Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, November 19th. All in all, looks like a rather quiet week here in the Mid-Atlantic region. The only real action of any sort right now for the next few days will be right along the outer banks of North Carolina, as that Atlantic coastal low that we were talking about all last week slowly works its way out towards the middle of the Atlantic by the middle part of this week, and the Pacific Northwest, where a series of storms will just dump lots of rain on coastal areas and heavy inland snows for the next couple of days. Some sunshine mixed with clouds over the next few days here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, moderately chilly conditions here for the next few days. Turkey Day looks rather nice for much of the Mid-Atlantic region. It will, however, turn much colder by the weekend, and we'll talk about that in the next few minutes. Here's the latest surface map, and that Atlantic low in the western Atlantic here continues to sit and spin here, and it will really mess up the weather right along the coastal Carolinas, both North and South Carolina, for the next day or two. Eventually, by the middle part of this week, it does finally pull out to the north and east into the middle part of the Atlantic. Meanwhile, out west, just a series of storms here over the next few days will produce some heavy rainfall along coastal regions and heavy inland snows all the way throughout the Pacific Northwest, all the way down south into the northern part of California. There's a little bit of moisture right now over the middle part of the country, but for the most part that falls apart over the next few hours. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop from the SSEC Wisconsin website, and here's that cloud mass associated with the coastal low. Some high clouds here, some lower clouds with a little spin in the action right here off the southeast coast. And this is just a very slow move, and it's actually a couple different waves, one over here, that'll continue to dog the Carolinas anyway for the next day or two. But by the middle part of the week, it'll gradually pull out into the middle part of the Atlantic Ocean, and even along the Carolinas will have much improvement by the time Thursday rolls around, Thanksgiving Day. Meanwhile, there's a little band of showers out here in the middle part of the country. Nothing much to write home about, and it will weaken over the next few hours, virtually fall apart by later on tonight. Meanwhile, just a series of storms out here over the Pacific Northwest coast. Lots of heavy rainfall all the way down into the northern part of California, and inland some high elevation snows over the next few days. Well, let's take a look at some big changes that will occur by the time Saturday rolls around. It looks like a nasty outbreak of Arctic air headed for the Mid-Atlantic region for the weekend. It will not be that long lasting, basically Saturday and Sunday, and then it'll modify quite quickly next week before yet more cold air moves into the Mid-Atlantic region, possibly by the middle or latter part of next week. But first, let's look at Thanksgiving Day. This is actually from last night's GFS model run at 0Z. This is for Thursday evening, Turkey Day, and quite nice here up and down the East Coast, kind of sandwiched between this low that is the same Atlantic low we've been talking about for the last several days, gradually moving itself to the north and east. Meanwhile, nice weather here along the East Coast, probably back to normal, even a little bit above normal by the time Thursday afternoon rolls around here in the Mid-Atlantic region. But quite a shot of cold air here with a strong cold front by this time Thursday evening in the middle part of the country, and a very strong cold Canadian high here in southwestern Canada will send a very cold air mass down into the middle part of the country by the latter part of the week, and then to the East Coast by the time Saturday rolls around. Here's a GFS forecast map for Friday evening. That frontal system already causing some precipitation here in the Mid-Atlantic region in the form of rain. In fact, Friday ahead of the front looks like a rather mild day with 60 degrees very likely in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region, maybe even into the low and mid-60s in some parts of the southern Mid-Atlantic region. But this cold front comes on through by Friday night, early Saturday, and then a very strong cold Arctic air mass moves into the Mid-Atlantic for the weekend. Well, I thought I'd kind of jump ahead to Saturday evening. This is from last night's GFS Ensemble run, a series of GFS forecast maps for Saturday evening, and just to show that there is some agreement now between the GFS model for this Arctic outbreak coming for the weekend and the European model. This map and the next map are from Alan Hoffman's RaleighWeather.com website. Here's the Saturday evening forecast map, just screaming northwest winds here in the Mid-Atlantic region. quite a cold temperature pool here seen with this Arctic invasion, sandwiched between a low off the Canadian Maritimes and a high down into the deep south. Again, this is from last night's GFS ensemble run. Indicates quite a chilly day on Saturday. Up in the mountains in central Pennsylvania, for example, wind chill temperatures could be in the teens with a screaming northwest wind, and there will be some snow flurries and snow squalls associated with this Arctic outbreak up in the mountains and across the Great Lakes this weekend. Let's now take a look at the European model. And quite similar to the GFS, this is last night's European ensemble run for the same time frame, Saturday evening. Similar picture here with a strong high way down into the deep south and a low well off the northeast coast, and just a screaming north to northwest flow of air with a cold Arctic air moving into the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, this could be accompanied by some snow squall activity up in the mountains and across the Great Lakes. So it looks like a mild day on Friday with temperatures at or above 60 degrees in much of the Mid-Atlantic, but then an Arctic cold front comes through by Saturday, and much, much different conditions for Saturday and Sunday. We'll have more on this initial Arctic outbreak as the week progresses. I say initial because this will modify rather quickly early next week, only to be followed by more cold air, it looks like, for the latter part of next week, going on into the first part of December. Well, that's it for now. For the SIWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.